Jessica sat in her room, her hands clenched into fists. She replayed everything that had happened, the humiliation in front of the school, Sylvester blocking her, and Anita walking around like a winner. "This is not over," Jessica muttered to herself. "I will deal with Anita, but first I'll make Sylvester regret ever knowing me." She picked up her phone and called Damien, the son of a powerful businessman who always had shady connections. "Damien, I need your help," Jessica said sweetly. Damien, who had always admired Jessica, smiled. "Jessica, what do you need this time?" "I want you to make Anita disappear from this school. I don't care how you do it." Damien laughed. "That's easy. But what do I get in return?" Jessica rolled her eyes. "You'll get whatever you want, Damien. Just make sure Anita never walks into this school again." Damien agreed, and Jessica hung up, smiling to herself. "Anita, your days in this school are numbered." Anita sat alone in the small house she once shared with her grandmother. The silence was heavy, and her heart felt empty. Since her grandmother died, she had been lost in thoughts. Who was she? Where did she really come from? The woman she had always called Grandma was not her real grandmother. She had stolen her from her real mother. But who was her real mother? Where was she? That night, Anita couldn't sleep. Something in her heart told her to search through her grandmother's things. Maybe, just maybe, there was something that could help her. She stood up, took a small lantern, and walked to the corner of the room where her grandmother kept her old bag. It was an old brown bag, torn at the edges, the same one her grandmother had carried for years. Anita unzipped it slowly, her hands shaking. Inside she found old clothes, some medicine wrappers, and an envelope at the bottom of the bag. The envelope was dusty, and the paper looked old. Something about it made her heart beat faster. She carefully pulled it out, sat down, and stared at it. There was a name written on it in faded ink. Margaret Johnson. Anita whispered the name to herself. It sounded important, but she didn't understand why. She turned the envelope around and saw a folded paper inside. She opened it slowly. It was an old birth certificate. Her eyes scanned through the paper, and when she saw the baby's name, her whole body stiffened. The name on the birth certificate was Anita Johnson. Her hands trembled as she looked at it again. Anita Johnson. That was her name. But why was this name on an old birth certificate? She read further. The mother's name was also written there. Margaret Johnson. Anita's heart stopped for a moment. Could this mean? Was Margaret Johnson her real mother? She placed a hand on her chest. She felt like she couldn't breathe. Her grandmother had never told her anything about her real mother. Tears filled Anita's eyes. She needed answers. She held the paper tightly and whispered to herself, "Margaret Johnson, are you my real mother?" She couldn't sit still anymore. She needed to find out the truth. She needed to know who Margaret Johnson was. Without wasting time, she grabbed the birth certificate, rushed out of the house, and headed straight to Sylvester's place. She knew he was the only person who could help her find answers. The moment Anita stepped into Sylvester's house, she could no longer hold back her emotions. She pulled out the old birth certificate from her bag and handed it to him. "Sly, look at this," she said, her voice shaky. Sylvester took the paper and read it carefully. "Margaret Johnson. Who is this?" Anita sat down, still trying to process everything. "That's my real mother's name." Sylvester's eyes widened. "Wait, your grandmother told you she didn't know your mother. But she had this birth certificate all along." Anita nodded. "She lied. She knew my mother's name, but she kept it from me. I don't know why." Sylvester exhaled deeply. "So this means you really were stolen?" Anita wiped her tears. "Yes. My whole life I believed my parents were dead. But now I know my real mother exists, and I need to find her." Sylvester thought for a moment. "Anita, do you know anything else about her?" Anita shook her head. I only have this paper." Sylvester stood up. "We need help. I know someone who can find her." Anita looked up. "Who?" "My uncle," Sylvester said. "He's a private investigator. He helps people find missing family members." Anita felt a small spark of hope. "Can we go now?" Sylvester smiled. "Let's go." Sylvester and Anita arrived at Mr. Ben's office, Sylvester's uncle. He was an older man with sharp eyes and a serious face. He took the birth certificate and studied it carefully. "So you're looking for Margaret Johnson?" Anita nodded. "Yes, sir, she's my real mother. I need to find her." Mr. Ben leaned back. "Margaret Johnson, this name sounds familiar, but I'll have to do a deep search." Anita's heart pounded. "How long will it take?" Mr. Ben smiled. "Give me 3 days. If she's alive, I will find her." 3 days later, Anita was sitting in Sylvester's house, unable to focus on anything. Then Sylvester's phone rang. He picked up. "Hello." Mr. Ben's voice was calm but serious. "Sylvester, tell Anita I found her mother." Sylvester almost dropped his phone. "What? Where is she?" Mr. Ben paused. "She's alive. And she's a multi-millionaire." Sylvester's eyes widened. "Are you serious?" Mr. Ben continued. "She owns one of the biggest companies in the country. Anita has no idea that she is the daughter of one of the richest women in this country." Sylvester turned to Anita, who was watching him anxiously. "What did he say?" Anita asked, her heart racing. Sylvester took a deep breath and said, "Anita, your mother is alive, and she's a multi-millionaire." Anita's whole world shook. "What?" Sylvester repeated. "Your mother is one of the richest women in the country. You've probably seen her on TV." Anita felt like the air had left her lungs. Her mother was alive, and not just alive, she was a powerful businesswoman. She whispered, "I need to see her." Sylvester nodded. "Then let's go." Sylvester and Anita arrived at a tall glass building in the heart of the city. The security was tight, and the reception area was grand. Anita walked to the desk, feeling her heartbeat in her ears. "I need to see Margaret Johnson." The receptionist looked up. "Do you have an appointment?" "No," Anita said, "but tell her, it's about her daughter." The receptionist's eyes widened. She picked up the phone, whispered something, then nodded. "Wait here." Minutes later, a powerful-looking woman stepped out. She was tall, elegant, and familiar. Anita had seen her on TV before, Margaret Johnson. The woman looked at Anita, confused. "Who are you?" Anita held out the birth certificate. "I think I'm your daughter." Margaret's face turned pale. "What?" Anita took a deep breath. "I was stolen from you when I was a baby. The woman who raised me confessed before she died." Margaret's eyes filled with tears. She took the birth certificate and read it slowly. "No, this can't be," Anita whispered. "I've been looking for you." Margaret let out a soft cry. My baby. I thought I lost you forever." Tears ran down Anita's cheeks as her real mother embraced her. Margaret held Anita tightly, tears streaming down her face. "I never stopped looking for you," she whispered. "Every day I prayed that one day I would find you." Anita felt a lump in her throat. "I grew up believing my parents were dead. The woman who raised me stole me from you." Margaret pulled back slightly and looked at Anita, her eyes searching her face. "You look so much like me. How did you find me?" Anita wiped her tears. "Before my grandmother died, she told me the truth. She had my birth certificate all along. That's how I found your name." Margaret shook her head. "She stole you from me and then kept the truth hidden." Anita nodded. "Yes, she never told me about you. She made me believe I was an orphan." Margaret turned away for a moment, trying to gather herself. "For years, I blamed myself. The night you were taken from me, I was just a young girl. I had no money, no power. But I never gave up." Anita's voice was soft. "You were looking for me." Margaret turned back to her. "Yes. I hired detectives, put out missing child reports, but there was nothing. I had no picture, no evidence, nothing to find you with." Anita felt her heart ache. "All this time, you wanted me." Margaret cupped Anita's face. "I never stopped wanting you, my child." For the first time in years, Anita felt the warmth of a mother's love. Margaret took Anita to her mansion. The house was like nothing Anita had ever seen. Tall gates, neatly trimmed gardens, expensive cars, and a grand staircase inside. Anita stood at the entrance, feeling overwhelmed. "This is where you live." Margaret smiled. "Yes, and from today it's your home too." Anita swallowed hard. "I've never lived in a place like this." Margaret hugged her. You deserve this and more. That night, Anita slept in a big, soft bed, but she couldn't help but think about her past. She had come from struggling to survive, being mocked at school, riding an old bicycle while others arrived in fancy cars. And now, here she was, the daughter of a millionaire. The next morning at school, Jessica was sitting with her group of friends when one of them rushed in excitedly. Jessica, have you heard the news? Jessica yawned. What news? Her friend leaned in. Anita's real mother is a multi-millionaire. She's the daughter of Margaret Johnson, the famous businesswoman. Jessica's face twisted in disbelief. What nonsense are you saying? Her friend continued. It's true. She came to school today in a luxury car, and she looks completely different. Jessica slammed her hand on the table. No, this is impossible. That bicycle girl, no way. Her friend nodded. It's all over school. Everyone is talking about it. Jessica stood up angrily. This can't be happening. First, she took Sylvester, and now she's acting like some rich princess. Jessica stormed out of the class, determined to confront Anita. Jessica found Anita standing near her new car, looking at her phone. Jessica marched straight to her. So you think you're better than us now? Anita looked up, confused. What are you talking about? Jessica scoffed. You're suddenly a rich girl overnight, acting like you're too good for everyone. Anita shook her head. Jessica, I didn't ask for this. I was stolen from my real mother. I just found out the truth. Jessica folded her arms. Truth or not, you were just a bicycle girl a few days ago. And now you're driving luxury cars. I don't believe it. Anita sighed. Believe whatever you want, Jessica, but I'm done letting you insult me. Jessica smirked. Oh, don't act like you're special. You're still the same low-class girl inside. Anita smiled. And yet, here you are, wasting your time on me. If I'm so low-class, why are you so obsessed with me? Jessica's face turned red with anger. She turned around and walked away, but Anita knew this wasn't the last she would hear from her. Jessica could not rest. The fact that Anita, the same girl she mocked for riding a bicycle, was now living like a princess, was too much for her to handle. She refused to believe that Anita had truly found her real mother. One afternoon, she made up her mind. She was going to confront Margaret Johnson herself. Dressed in her finest clothes, Jessica marched into Margaret Johnson's company headquarters. The security guards stopped her at the entrance. I need to see Madame Margaret, she said confidently. The guards exchanged glances. Do you have an appointment? Jessica folded her arms. No, but tell her it's important. It's about Anita. The guards hesitated, but when they heard it was about Anita, they made a call. Minutes later, Jessica was allowed inside. She walked into Margaret's massive office, where the woman sat behind a grand desk, looking busy with documents. Margaret looked up, surprised to see a young girl standing before her. Who are you? She asked coldly. Jessica smiled sweetly and sat down without being invited. Madam Margaret, I just came to ask you one simple question. Margaret frowned. And what is that? Jessica leaned forward. How can you just accept someone who claimed to be your daughter just like that? Did you even do a DNA test? What if she's lying to you? Margaret's face changed immediately, her eyes darkened with anger. What? Jessica nodded, enjoying the reaction she was getting. Yes, think about it. You're a very rich woman. You have no other children. Most people would do anything to take advantage of that. What if Anita is just a smart girl trying to scam you? Margaret stood up sharply, her powerful presence making Jessica uncomfortable. Get out of my office. Jessica flinched, but she kept talking. I'm just trying to help you, madam. People are full of surprises. Have you ever seen proof that she is your real daughter? Margaret pointed at the door. I said get out. Jessica quickly stood up, realizing that Margaret was truly furious. Fine, I'm leaving. But think about what I said. You're a smart woman. You know I have a point. Margaret didn't reply. She simply pressed the intercom button and ordered security to escort Jessica out. Jessica walked out with a satisfied smile on her face. She knew she had planted a seed of doubt in Margaret's mind. After Jessica left, Margaret sat back down in her chair, trying to calm herself down. But the more she tried to ignore what Jessica had said, the more the words rang in her ears. Did you even do a DNA test? Margaret sighed deeply. She had been so emotional when Anita came into her life that she never once thought of confirming the truth. She tapped her fingers on the table. That girl might be right. People are full of surprises. She leaned back in her chair, staring at the ceiling. I don't have any other children. If someone wanted to take advantage of me, this would be the perfect way. She shook her head. No. But Anita is my daughter. I feel it in my heart. But then she remembered how many times she had been betrayed in business by people she trusted. Margaret sighed again. She loved Anita already, but she needed to be sure. I will tell Anita about this when I get home, she said to herself. Even though she hated that Jessica girl, she had to admit one thing. Jessica had given her something to think about. That evening, Anita sat in her new beautiful bedroom in the mansion. She was happier than she had ever been, but something was still on her mind. Everything was happening so fast. Just a few weeks ago, she was struggling to survive. Now she was the daughter of a millionaire. As she was thinking, Margaret knocked on her door and walked in. Anita, we need to talk, she said seriously. Anita immediately sensed something was wrong. Is everything okay, Mother? Margaret sat on the bed beside her. Anita, have you ever thought about doing a DNA test? Anita frowned. A DNA test? Why would we need to do that? Margaret hesitated. I believe in my heart that you are my daughter. But today someone came to my office and made me realize that I never actually confirmed it. Anita's heart skipped a beat. Who came to your office? Margaret exhaled. Jessica. Anita felt her body tense up. Jessica, that girl again. What did she say? Margaret looked away. She asked me how I could just accept you without proof. She said I should be careful because people would want to take advantage of me since I have no other children. Anita felt anger rise in her chest. Jessica is just jealous. She wants to destroy my happiness. Margaret placed a hand on her lap. I know Anita. I chased her out of my office. But after she left, I started thinking. What if she is right? Anita's voice cracked. Mother, don't you believe I'm your daughter? Margaret's eyes softened. My heart tells me you are. But Anita, I have been betrayed so many times in my life. I've trusted people who turned out to be liars. I don't want to ever be fooled again. Anita looked down. So, you want to do a DNA test? Margaret took her hand. Yes. Not because I don't love you, but because I want us both to be sure. Anita felt tears in her eyes. If that's what you want, then let's do it. Margaret smiled sadly. No matter what the result is, Anita, I want you to know something. You have already become my daughter in my heart. Anita hugged her tightly. And I don't want any mother but you. The next day, Margaret and Anita went to a private hospital to do the DNA test. The doctors took their samples and told them they would get the results in 1 week. Margaret turned to Anita. No matter what happens, I love you. Anita nodded. I love you too, Mother. But deep inside, Anita was scared. What if the DNA test said she wasn't Margaret's daughter? Would Margaret still want her? Meanwhile, Jessica was in school smiling to herself. She had planted doubt in Margaret's mind. She couldn't wait to hear what happened next. She laughed and told her friends, very soon, Anita will be exposed, and I will be the one to humiliate her in front of everyone. The 1 week of waiting felt like a whole year for Anita. Every day she woke up wondering about the results. What if she wasn't really Margaret Johnson's daughter? Would Margaret still want her? Would she go back to being alone? Margaret also couldn't hide her anxiety. She loved Anita already, but she needed to be sure. Finally, the hospital called. The results were ready. That morning, Margaret and Anita arrived at the hospital, their hearts racing. The doctor handed Margaret a sealed envelope. Margaret's hands shook as she opened it. She quickly scanned the paper, and then her eyes widened. She turned to Anita, her voice trembling with emotion. Anita, you are my daughter. Anita gasped. Mother, are you sure? Margaret nodded, tears rolling down her cheeks. Yes, my child. The DNA test proves it 100%. You are really my daughter. Anita burst into tears of joy. I knew it. I knew you were my mother. Margaret hugged Anita tightly. I'm so sorry, my love. I should have believed in my heart from the start. Please forgive me. Anita wiped her tears and smiled. Mother, I don't blame you. At first I was angry, but later I realized that what you did was normal. You just wanted to be sure. This world is somehow, and you have every right to protect yourself. Margaret kissed Anita's forehead. You are my world now, Anita. I will never let anything or anyone take you away from me again. Anita smiled, and I will never leave you, Mother. The doctor watched them with a smile. This is one of the happiest DNA results I've ever delivered. Margaret laughed. Doctor, you don't understand. I have been waiting for this moment for years. The doctor shook her hand. Congratulations, Madam Johnson, and congratulations to you too, Anita. You have a wonderful mother. Anita nodded. Yes, I do. After they left the hospital, Anita couldn't wait to tell Sylvester. She called him immediately. Sly, guess what? She said, her voice full of excitement. Sylvester laughed. Tell me, my love, what is it? Anita almost screamed in joy. The DNA test is out. It's 100% confirmed. Margaret Johnson is my real mother. Sylvester clapped from the other side of the phone. Ah, I knew it. I knew it. My Anita is truly a millionaire's daughter. I'm so happy for you, baby. Anita giggled. Thank you, Sly. I can't even describe how I feel. I'm just so happy. Then Sylvester's voice changed to a playful tone. Since you're so happy, baby, come over, let's have some fun. Anita burst into laughter. You this spoilt lover boy, go away from me. Sylvester laughed hard. Come on, Anita, I just want to celebrate my queen. Anita shook her head. I know the kind of celebration you mean. Behave yourself. Sylvester chuckled. Okay, I will behave, but seriously, I want to see you. I've missed you. Anita smiled softly. I've missed you too. Okay, I'll come over later. Sylvester cheered. That's my girl. Anita laughed. Sly, you're so dramatic. Sylvester sighed. For you, I will always be dramatic, my love. Anita felt her heart warm. For the first time in her life, she felt completely happy. She had found her real mother. She had someone who truly loved her. Meanwhile, Jessica was in school, waiting for bad news about Anita. She sat with her group of friends, smirking. By now, I'm sure that fake girl has been exposed. Soon she will run away from this school in shame. Just then, one of her friends rushed in, out of breath. Jessica, have you heard the news? Jessica leaned forward. What news? Her friend grinned. The DNA test is out. Anita is really Margaret Johnson's daughter. Jessica froze. What? Her friend nodded quickly. Yes, it was 100% confirmed at the hospital today. Anita is the real daughter of the multimillionaire businesswoman. Jessica's face turned pale. No, that's impossible. Her friend laughed. Jessica, you have lost. Your plan failed. Anita is richer than ever now, and you can't do anything about it. Jessica stood up angrily. No, this can't be happening. I won't let her win. Jessica was alone in the school bathroom, filled with anger and jealousy. Nothing was working in her favor. Anita had found her real mother, the DNA test confirmed it, and now she was richer and more powerful than ever. Meanwhile, Jessica had lost everything. Her reputation was destroyed. Nobody feared her anymore. Even her closest friends had started avoiding her. She gritted her teeth. I can't let Anita win like this. I must make her suffer. Then an evil idea came to her mind. She picked up her phone and called Damien, the rich, spoiled boy who always wanted to impress her. Damien, she said sweetly, I need your help. Damien sighed. Jessica, what do you want this time? Jessica smirked. I want Anita and Sylvester kidnapped. Damien sat up straight. What? Are you crazy? Jessica rolled her eyes. Listen, we don't have to hurt them. Just keep them somewhere for a few days. Let them feel helpless. I just want to show Anita that she's not untouchable. Damien hesitated. Jessica, this is serious. If we get caught, we'll go to jail. Jessica laughed wickedly. We won't get caught. I have it all planned out. Damien sighed. Fine, but this is the last time I help you. Jessica smirked. Good. I will send you the details later. She hung up, smiling to herself. Anita, your happiness will not last. I will make sure of that. But what Jessica didn't know was that one of her remaining friends, Linda, had overheard the plan. Linda had followed Jessica into the school bathroom when she made the call to Damien. At first, she was shocked, but then she felt afraid. Jessica had already lost everything, and now she was going too far. Linda knew she couldn't let this happen. That night, she secretly called Sylvester. "Sly," she whispered, "I have something important to tell you." Sylvester was surprised. "Linda, why are you calling me?" Linda took a deep breath. "It's about Jessica. She's planning to kidnap you and Anita." Sylvester froze. "What? Are you serious?" "Yes," Linda said urgently. "She's working with Damien. They want to make you and Anita disappear for a few days just to scare you." Sylvester's face darkened with anger. "That girl is mad." "Where are they planning to do it?" Linda whispered. "I don't know everything, but I heard her say something about tomorrow evening when Anita comes to visit you." Sylvester clenched his fists. "Linda, thank you for telling me. You did the right thing." Linda sighed. "I just don't want anyone to get hurt." Sylvester immediately called the police. Jessica has finally crossed the line. Jessica sat alone in her room, pacing back and forth. Her plan to kidnap Anita and Sylvester was ready. She had given Damien all the details, and now she was just waiting for the right time to strike. But what Jessica didn't know was that the police were already on their way to arrest her. Suddenly, loud knocks came from the door. "Jessica Williams, open this door immediately." Jessica froze. Her heart started pounding. "What? Who is that?" Another loud bang on the door. "This is the police. Open up now." Jessica's hands shook. She knew she was in trouble. She quickly tried to grab her phone to call Damien, but before she could dial, the door burst open and 4 police officers stormed inside. "Jessica Williams, you are under arrest for attempting to kidnap Anita Johnson and Sylvester Adams," one officer said. Jessica's mouth dropped open. "What? No, I didn't do anything." The officers ignored her and handcuffed her hands behind her back. "You have the right to remain silent," another officer said. "Anything you say can and will be used against you in a court of law." Jessica started struggling. "No, this is a mistake. I didn't do anything." The officers dragged her out of the house while the neighbors watched in shock. One of them whispered, "So this is how the mighty Jessica ends." Another person laughed. Karma has finally caught up with her. Jessica kicked and screamed, but it was useless. The officers threw her into the police van and slammed the door shut. As the car drove away, Jessica realized something. This was really happening. She was going to jail, and this time no one could save her. Meanwhile, Damien was sitting in his car listening to music, completely unaware that Jessica had been caught. He was waiting for her call to confirm if they should go ahead with the plan. But instead of Jessica's call, he got something else. Sirens. Bright red and blue lights flashed behind him. Damien checked his rearview mirror and saw 2 police cars blocking the road. His heart sank. Before he could react, armed police officers surrounded his car. "Step out of the vehicle with your hands up." Damien panicked. "What? What's going on?" The police opened his car door and dragged him out. "You are under arrest for conspiracy to kidnap Anita Johnson and Sylvester Adams." Damien tried to lie. "No, this is a mistake. Jessica forced me to do it." The officer smirked. "Then you can explain that in court." Before he could say another word, they handcuffed him and pushed him into the police van. Damien's face turned pale as reality hit him. His life was over. Hours later, Jessica and Damien were thrown into the same jail cell. Jessica glared at Damien. "You idiot, you got caught too." Damien shook his head. "Jessica, you ruined my life. If you hadn't involved me in your stupid revenge, I wouldn't be here." Jessica rolled her eyes. "Oh, shut up, Damien. You were happy to help when you thought it would work." Damien leaned against the wall, sighing. "I should have known better. Anita was always the better person. Now she's free, and we're the ones suffering." Jessica stayed silent for a moment, then whispered, "I should have left Anita alone." Damien looked at her. "Now you realize." Jessica closed her eyes, feeling deep regret. She had lost everything, her reputation, her freedom. And now she was stuck in a cold jail cell, paying for her mistakes. Tears rolled down her cheeks as she whispered to herself, "I should have just minded my business." Meanwhile, Anita and Sylvester sat under the stars, feeling relieved. Sylvester smiled. It's over, Anita. Jessica and Damien are gone. Anita sighed in relief. Yes, she had so many chances to change, but she didn't. Sylvester took her hand. Now, we can finally enjoy life without any drama. Anita smiled. You know, baby, I never imagined my life would turn out like this. Sylvester chuckled. You mean from bicycle girl to millionaire princess? Anita laughed. Yes. Sylvester pulled her closer. But you know what? To me, you were always a queen, rich or poor. Anita blushed. You, this spoilt lover boy, you always know what to say. Sylvester smiled. Of course. Now come closer. Let me whisper something in your ear. Anita rolled her eyes playfully. I know what you're planning, you romantic troublemaker. Sylvester laughed. Guilty as charged. But I love you, Anita. Anita smiled. I love you too, honey. As they sat under the starry sky, Anita felt at peace. Her journey had been long and painful, but in the end, she won. She found her real mother, she had true love with Sylvester, and most of all, she had happiness. Jessica was gone, and a new chapter of her life was just beginning. Dear viewers, what lessons did you take away from this dramatic tale? We'd love to hear your thoughts in the comments below. If you enjoyed the story, give us a thumbs up, share it with friends, and hit that subscribe button. Don't forget to turn on notifications so you never miss out on our latest updates. Thanks for watching and stay blessed.